Hey, just jumping in really quick with a little bit of an intro for this session before we actually do the intro. We are talking about public speaking and getting booked as a presenter in this session, but there is a lot of information around getting booked. And think of getting booked as getting a job or getting a role or positioning yourself to sell a product. So there is a lot of information in here, even though it is heavily focused on the presenter side of being booked. I know a lot of you out there also do gigs with other types of financial reward, so you will get a lot out of this either way. And with that being said, let's get on with the podcast.
Listen, laugh, and learn with Sacha and Ish as they share their experiences, thoughts, and tips to build skills that are not so average and a career that's not so ordinary. This is the Not So Breakfast Show.
All right, welcome to the Not So Breakfast Show today, the podcast for leadership and career development. And today we are continuing on with our speaker series. I say continuing on because we talked a little bit about speaking last week, and we're going to finish it off this week because we had someone ask us a question. Her name is Sarah. She's purchased the 30-minute presenter program, has gone through the course, has done her presentation. Legend. She is a legend. She should be whole.
Wow, smart woman. Kia ora to you, Sarah Norman.
Go you, Sarah. So she's done a presentation and it's been successful for her, but now she's kind of thinking, I want to do more. How do I get booked? How do I approach a business, or how do I get more opportunities to get paid for that, right? Because that is one of the things that you really want to do. And who better to do that than the person that basically gets booked every single week, Sash? You are a legend at this, and I would love to pick your brain around how to build presentations that can sell and how to get rebooked, and maybe even how to approach businesses as well. But welcome to the show, Sash. It's great to have you here.
Oh, thanks.
I think,
Thanks. I'm coming in from Otatahi, Christchurch today. You forgot that, we're just straight in it. Let's go. That's good. But 2 days from now, I'm flying out of the country again to go back to Boston. So I'm really interested in sharing kind of what I've learned along the way about this whole speaking thing, because I was thinking about, I'm going back to Boston. I have a speaking opportunity up there, and I was sort of thinking about how you get known as a speaker, or not even as a speaker, but known as somebody who can speak if asked. And so there's quite a lot to explore here, and I'm thinking about a couple of situations that it's really useful for everybody, regardless of what your career is, what you do, to be aware of. And the first kind of categorization that I want to check in with you about is, you and I both believe that everybody should get really good at speaking in front of an audience, whether it's 10 people, 20 people, 30 people. So then if you are then asked in your work capacity, your professional capacity, or your personal capacity to ever give a talk, so whether that's a speech at your parents' funeral, whether it's a best man speech, whether it's a end of season speech for your amateur tennis club that you play in, whatever the context, if you build these skills of speaking, you're always ready to go, right?
Yeah.
That's my starting point, and that you and I agree, let's get this skill under the way. There's two reasons that you might want to get really good at it and understand how to get more of the work. One is because if you are selling anything at all, so whether you are selling your own services or selling photocopiers or selling fitness or selling real estate, whatever it is that you are selling, if you can be a compelling speaker off the back of your expertise and positioning, you can sell more of that shit you're trying to sell.
Yeah.
If you are, and I don't mean this to be offensive, if you are selling religion, the better you are at having compelling messages, the more people are able to respond to what it is that you're saying, because what you're saying makes sense, or it's moving or memorable or what have you. So in that context, you go, I want to speak to people more often so I can sell more of the thing that I've got to sell. You might want to sell it because that's how you make your money.
Yeah.
Or you might want to sell it because you have a belief that it's good for the world. right? So I enjoy when I speak for free if I'm sharing a message that is, hey, here's some simple things you can do to live a more fulfilled or happy life. That just feels like a purpose-fulfilling thing for me. Here's some stuff I've learned along the way.
Yeah.
So that category of talking, I feel like I'm just like lecturing at you now, but that category of talking is, I don't care about being paid for the talk, but I want to talk as much as I can, because when I talk, I sell the thing.
Well, actually, I think that raises a really good point. There's two types of presenters that get booked. There are presenters that are great at presenting. They get up on stage, they rock the stage, they're there to do the keynote, they're there to do the company training, and they get booked. And then there's the speaker that gets booked because of who they are. And that's where the danger is for me, because suddenly it's the rugby player that gets the booking because they were the captain of the All Blacks, but actually they just don't have a skill base. So what happens is you get up there and you go,
hello,
that was really boring. Yeah. So suddenly the presentation, it wasn't great. They only got the gig and probably got paid phenomenally well to get the gig because of their positioning. And really what you're saying is get good at the skill so that when you then get the opportunity into whatever your positioning might be, that you can step up and deliver, because otherwise you're not going to get rebooked if you're terrible. You know, you might get the first one, but then you're not going to get anything else.
What you're trying to distinguish in your own mind, are you trying to get booked because you want to be a paid speaker, or are you trying to get booked because you speak for free and off the back of that people get introduced to your services and they're going to buy insurance from you, they're going to use your property management services, they are going to join your religion and not someone else's. So two different categories. The first category is, I want to speak, and I want to speak to lots of people to sell them some stuff. The second category is, I don't want to sell from the stage. The thing I'm selling is, here I am being a great speaker that is going to uplift and inspire and motivate you. You've got to have a different approach depending on what it is that you're trying to do. Because essentially what we're saying is, how do you get yourself in front of more people? And some of the lessons that we're going to share, in today's podcast also apply to any kind of sales, really. How do you get your foot in the door? How do you get people to want the thing that you want? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Yay!
Yeah. One of the key pieces of advice that we might kick in with is, what should you position on? Like, if you are going to start putting yourself out there, like I know that you could, for example, go to a business and say, hey, I'm Sash, I do presenting. What do you want me to present on? Or they come to you and go, can you present on X? And you go, yes, I could. And here's my style that will work with X. But that's quite hard at the beginning when you don't really have a name, or you're not really known for anything, or you haven't got to the point where people go, oh, you're an amazing speaker. So when you're at that stage where maybe you've got the base skill set and you're thinking about, now, how do I get out in front of more people? How do you start? Like, what do you position on at that point?
I love this idea where you have to fit in. So when you look at yourself as a speaker, as a presenter, as a salesperson, as someone who's going to share education, you want to fit in so people can understand what it is that you do. And you'll remember, Ish, like corporate society went through a phase a while back where everybody got just amazing titles. What do you do? I'm a dream maker. I'm a fashion futurist. I'm a fashion-forward, backward, basic bitch. Whatever it is that you said your title was, it couldn't just be, I'm the head of sales. It had to be something that was like quirky. And for a while, it's like, that was cool, except no one knew what you did. So I just want to be able to grasp the category of what you do. And you categorize yourself in two ways so that you fit in. One is, what are the topics you are talking about? I'm talking about leadership, customer service, sales, wellness. I'm talking about industrial engineering. I'm talking about using AI in your everyday life. So what are your topics that people can grasp and hold on to? And then how do you make the audience feel? So what kind of feeling are you going to create in the audience? So are you challenging? So I'm going to challenge your audience about, or in a way that's challenging to them, about sales, about leadership, about industrial engineering, whatever the topic is about. You might go, the thing that I am is entertaining. So if you want a speaker that speaks about leadership, industrial engineering, ChatGPT, AI in your everyday life, who's entertaining, so you've got two strings to the bow. One is what's the topic, and the other is kind of what's the style in terms of how you want the audience to feel. So me, for example, I am like three things. I'm an entertaining, challenging, funny. So those are the three things I'm, because funny is a subset of entertaining. But you can be entertaining and not funny. So in terms of entertainment, I sing, I dance, I'm funny, and I'm challenging. Those are the three things. So if you want an earnest, authentic, down-to-earth speaker about leadership, customer service, engineering, I'm not your girl, because I'm not down-to-earth and calm and educational. I'm challenging and entertaining and funny, and we're going to have a ride. So people know that they can book you on a topic, subject, and they know what the style is in terms of the audience is going to be challenged. They're going to laugh. They're going to be entertained. So know those two things.
Yeah, and can I just pick up on that piece there? What you've said there is really important, because I think if you don't have that positioning style, then what can sometimes happen is you can go in and you suddenly do your style that is not what they were wanting. And so it can end up doing brand damage, really, because they go, well, actually, we were after this, and then we got you because you talked about this topic. So the clearer you are, at least you can be upfront at that point and say, yes, I can do that topic, but be aware this is the style that I do, because otherwise, you may not get rebooked.
Yeah, and you might phrase that, and I mean, I think you're right to say beware, but it's also, hey, lucky days, because this is what I bring, right? Lucky days, this is the style that I've got. So we started talking about fitting in. So you want people to be able to grasp what it is you do. I'm the leadership speaker who's entertaining, challenging, and funny. That's me. That's the fit in bit. And then you go, the stand out bit is to be the best at that, or be memorable, or have something that says, look, if you want a funny, entertaining, inspirational, challenging leadership speaker, get Sacha Coburn, because she's different, blah, 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 blah. She's relatable. She uses personal stories. Whatever the thing is that makes you stand out of the category, that's what's going to help with your positioning, right? What do you do that I can grasp, and then tell me why it's better? So I'm peanut butter, and I have no added sugar, no salt. I'm super healthy. Category, and then stand out of the category. That's the first piece of positioning that's really important, yeah? So even if you're not trying to get those paid speaker gigs, you're just trying to speak in front of people so you can sell them stuff, all of these rules or ideas still apply, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be saying to yourself, where do the people who I want to speak to congregate? Where do they hang out? So is it that they hang out in business networking groups? Do they hang out in Rotary clubs? Do they hang out online? In which case, you've got different tactics of how you might get hold of those groups of people. So you're not trying to sell your presentation, you're just trying to get in front of people. So your pitch is to event organizers. It's to offer to do things for free. It's to make sure that you have a little clip of yourself speaking so that you can send to them and go, hey, I would love to share my ideas with your book club. I would love to share my ideas at your PTA. Next time your parents association gets together, could I have 10 minutes because I'd love to share some thoughts about XYZ. Here's a little clip of me speaking. I talk about this, and it's really uplifting and energetic. So you're knowing and naming what it is that you are gunning for.
And I guess that's like any sales, right? You've got to be bigger than just your pitch. So the things that surround you, that can be speaking ahead of you or as well as you, or when you're not there, that remind them about you, because it could be that you have the conversation with the HR person, but the gig doesn't come up in that business for 6 months. But in the meantime, someone else came along who just happened to be closer to that timing, and as a result, they end up getting it. So surround yourself with enough assets that you've got a little bit of legacy there and a little bit of reference point there, so that later on then they can't go, oh, who was that person again? Oh, that's right, they sent me, and then suddenly they open up the YouTube clip, the pitch pack, the whatever it is.
I think if you're really clear on what your outcome is, it's not just, hey, what I'm trying to do is speak in front of these people. It's, hey, I'm trying to deliver value. So just keep delivering value even though you're not speaking to the group. So, yes, I want to speak at your Rotary Club, so I've now just sent you a complimentary copy of my book that you can give away as a prize. You don't have a book yet. No, but you can probably have a white paper of the top 10 things that are new in fundraising. Send that to your Rotary Club. And then say, by the way, I'm always available to come and chat, or I'm going to be in your town in June. So you're just continually putting yourself out there, delivering value, lots of free value that's going out, because that's cementing in the minds of the person that's going to say yes to you tuning up to present that you're committed to delivering value. And that's when you are that free person. It's all about the value exchange. I think sometimes as speakers and presenters, we think our IP is really special, really, really special. And it's not. It's not. There's a fantastic clip that with Cole Fink talking to his brother, Cam, about ideas and how there's kind of nothing original under the sun, but we still need to say things, and we say them in a fresh and new way. And that's original for that audience at that time. So we're not going to be uptight about, here's my little precious model. I had this incredibly humbling and challenging thing happen to me last week. I was running a leadership program. Well, thank you for asking, what was it, Ish? I'm just going to tell you. I was running a leadership program in the Waikato with my business partner, Tonya Kaywood. And I've got this 2x2 model that I made up years ago. You'll remember it. It's got willingness down one side, which is a measure of your attitude, and then it's got aptitude, which is your ability. Mm-hmm. So you've got aptitude, attitude, willingness, and can. So you're going, I will, I won't, I can, I can't. And you basically map those things against each other. And when you're looking at a team dynamic, you're going, some people in your team can and will, amazing, what do they need? Some people can and won't, they need an attitude adjustment. Some people will and won't and will, all the different combinations. And it's a bloody great model. Every time I teach it, people go, oh, that is so helpful. I'm going to put my people into the categories and I know what to do with them. Amazing. Love that model. Where'd it come from? I said, I made it up. It just came to me, 10 years ago, and I love it. Great. Incredible. I go onto Twitter last week while I'm in the middle of this course, and this tweet comes up and it says, here's a great model from, can't remember the guy's name. He started Shake Shack, which is a massive burger fast food chain in the States. Mm-hmm. His model is exactly the same as mine. Exactly the same as mine. It's got willingness, it's bloody great. And this person's tweeting and other people are going, it's amazing, what an incredible model. And I'm going, it's my model. So I don't know if somehow through the universe he's found it, or what I think is much more likely is it's a pretty simple idea and he's thought about these things, I've thought about these things. I didn't copyright my model. It's not the Sacha Coburn model. Mm-hmm. And it's not his model either. It's just our model, right? And it was just such a threat to my ego in that moment. I wanted to go on to Twitter and I would go, actually, that's my model, excuse me. Here's some photos of when I taught that back in 2005, and where did you see it? And you and all of that stuff is ugly, it's horrible, it's yuck. His model serves the world, my model serves the world. Let it go, lady. Let it go. And I had to really call myself to account on why I was having this kind of immature reaction to it. That said, it was just a reminder that it's just ideas, it's just stuff. The more people know about it, the better. So be generous with your ideas and generous with your expertise. And then when you turn up to do the free gig, if you're really good, someone in the audience will say, oh, That Ish chap gave a really good talk about the importance of health and fitness when you hit 50, and he gave me some really good tips. And actually, Sally, why don't you get him to come and talk to your workplace as well? So as soon as you get one gig, if you're good enough, you start to build your referral base. And remember, these are talks that are free, but that are platforming you to sell your services.
That's the crucial point, right? Sometimes the in is free, or the in is at an affordable positioning, but exactly to your point, who's in the room that you can then sell onto, or who's in the room that can give you the bigger opportunity. But the base skill set needs to be solid. No one's booking you if you can't get up there and do the thing that you were, in the room to do. So definitely make sure you've got that skill. And then as you get better, the opportunities come. And some of my favorite speakers, I think of Julia Grace, who she does her Be Kind to Your Mind. We've interviewed her on the podcast. She's a singer, songwriter, and has now just finished her book. But she has a keynote talk. That's what she talks on, Be Kind to Your Mind. It's around mental health and her journey with mental health. But she has delivered that talk in churches and Rotary groups and for free so many times. And then she started to get paid, and then the money started to go up as the skills started to develop. So we underestimate how much effort actually goes in. That being said, you can fast track your success by learning the skills quickly and then getting very good at delivering some message that then you can get in there and get paid the big money for as well.
And part of that might be you get really good at a little 10-minute story pitch. Story pitch. And it's not, hey, get good at 60 minutes. It's get good at 10 minutes. So you can take those little opportunities to speak and sell off the back of that. That's awesome. I'd love to talk for a moment about what about if you want to get gigs and you're good, you want to get paid and you want to become like a professional kind of a speaker. If that's the position you're in, I love the idea that if you're not a world champion, you have to train and act like a world champion in order to be a world champion. You're never going to say, well, until I'm the best in the world, I just won't train like the best in the world. The only way you get to be the best in the world is to train like the best in the world. So what does that mean in a speaking context? It ironically means if you want to be a paid speaker, spend a whole lot of time doing free talks or less than big mega money talks, because you have to get better. I promise you think you're good and you're not. I thought I was pretty bloody amazing until I really started to raise my expectations about who I wanted to be compared to and the type of work that I wanted to do. And I was like, you got some work to do, lady. And that's practice. That is hours in the bank. That is talks in small, old, cold rooms. That is talks late at night, talks early in the morning. Yep, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there for $1,000. I'm going to go there for $2,000. And then you get good enough that when the next person offers you without compunction, you can then say to them, I would love to come and help at $6,000. And you wait and you pause and they say yes and you go, okay, this is good. This is fun. Thanks. Here we go. Right? Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of money for an hour. Well, yeah, except I've been training for almost 50 years. Since before I could talk, I've been thinking about the world because I was thinking about it before I had language, right? So how long have you been doing this? So my point is if you want to get good at getting paid money for this, get as many gigs as you can the first way that we talked about to make sure that you've got runs on the board and your skills are getting up there. And then if you go, okay, I'm ready to play the professional game, there's two things I recommend you do. One is you've got to do our 30-minute presenter program. That's just to build out. I'm not shying away from the fact it's a bloody great program. It's well priced. You should do it. Get in the game. Then you can also look at going somewhere like Speakership, a program that Matt Church runs. You go 2 days intense where you look at the concepts and you do the work. Then you train like a champion. So what do champions do? They've got a show reel. They've got a website. They look like they're amazing. So that stuff, you can fake it till you make it. When I put my first, I don't have a show reel, but when I put my first pitch together, it's photos of me on stage and there's no audience in the background, right? Minor detail, right? Minor detail. But there's photos that look like I'm on a big stage, there's lights, so it's a professional package. Now, if you're selling speaking, if you're selling anything, is the quality of what you're doing at the appropriate level based on the arena that you want to play in. So that's a challenge for everybody in your career. If you are trying to play an A game, look at all the resources that support around you, and realistically, are they good enough? Or are you complaining about the results that you are getting from the work you did not do? Oh, I didn't get that gig, but they wanted a show reel, but I don't have a show reel. And so just to explain what's happened in my career is I've just kind of skipped the show reel part. So I've got, sounds stupid, I'm well enough known in New Zealand that the referrals are so big now. People say, my friend heard you speak, you delivered for the audience, we would like you at our conference. Here's the trick now. I'm starting to play in Australia. So I've got a couple of Australian conferences that I've spoken at. They are going to want a show reel. And I'm like, do I want to do this? I want to be champion. So your show reel is like the video clips of you speaking so they can see you in action, so they can, they can check in. So that's a decision for me. And I don't know, do I want to do this? Maybe I just want to run Coffee Cold.
We'll be right back.
If there was one skill that could double your income, advance your career, and increase your ability to influence, it is the skill of presenting. Whether it's on stage, in the boardroom, or at a job interview, the 30-minute presenter program will help take you to the next level. So check out our Instagram page, click the link in the bio, and get started on the 30-minute presenter program. Oh, I think you want to do it, Sash. I think you just want to do less of them but get paid big money.
Yeah, and the reason I'm kind of sharing this, you're going, well, why are we having this career counselling with Sash? Is because I think we come to these thought pros all the time where we go, if I want to do the next thing, I've got to make a little bit of investment and I've got to up my game. Let's not limit ourselves by not being willing to do the thing that is required at the next level. And that's across all of our careers, whatever that is. What's the skill that we need? What's the resource that we need to be able to play the bigger game? I mean, you think about Ish, all the editing software that you invest in or the learning to do new things. That's because if you want to play a bigger game, you're going to have to know how to do the things that are required at that level, yeah? Yeah, definitely. If we look at the skills, like you can rock the stage, you can get up there, you can deliver, but also getting booked is a skill. And so being able to sell is a skill. So if you've had a few no's doesn't mean that it's no. It just means that timing wasn't right or the way that you pitched it wasn't correct. So you kind of need to learn from those opportunities along the way to get better. I remember some of the mistakes I made early on with getting speaking gigs is I would say, what do you want? And they would tell me, and I'd do all the work, and then they go, actually, with conferences cancelled, or we're not doing that now. And suddenly I've put in hours and hours of work rather than actually making sure that you get the gig, get a deposit, or it's all confirmed. You're just giving them guidelines, and then you build in your content. Also know that having signature stuff that is unique to you or stuff that you've just done 100 times before is a lot easier sometimes to give away free because you can just turn up and do the show 5 minutes before with a bit of preparation because you've done it, as opposed to you're speaking at a conference on a topic you don't know, it's with a crowd you're not quite sure about and you put in way more work. Maybe price needs to be taken into account with those kind of opportunities as well. Yeah, and I think that time that you spent building those presentations, it's not wasted. No. If they are not too specific, right? So when I talk about leadership in real estate, it's a leadership talk and it's got a it's got a real estate lens. When I talk about leadership in supermarkets, it's a leadership talk. It's got a supermarket lens. It's not a supermarket talk with a leadership lens because there's only 2 supermarket companies in New Zealand. That's a really small market. So all the time be thinking, am I talking about broad, general, but useful principles with take-home actions? And then layering that industry over the top. not the other way round. People don't need you to talk to them about their own industry. Imagine getting up at a mechanics conference and going, right, I'm Sacha and you guys are mechanics, so I'm going to talk about cars. They're like, we know more about cars than you will ever learn if all you did was learn about cars for the rest of your life. They want you to talk about what you know.
Yeah.
So when I talk about high performance, I use a ballet dancer as my model. I know about ballet dancing. Mm-hmm. And you might think, well, how can the mechanics relate to that? They can relate to it because they're not idiots, they're mechanics. Right? The principles are the same.
Yeah.
And it's authentic if I'm sharing from my expertise and saying, here are the points that we can extrapolate out. So your time's not wasted building a deck or building a presentation, even if that conference gets cancelled, as long as you go, okay, so now this forms the base of another presentation that I can do. So my encouragement is prepare a whole lot of presentations as if you've been asked. So if you see that a conference is coming up and you haven't been asked, you're not on the radar, no drama, just prepare the presentation you would have given if you had been asked. And then when someone does ring you, you go, well, actually, I do have a little something that I've prepared. Wicked. When you're trying to get booked as a speaker, one of the best gigs you can get is an industry-wide conference. So, for example, it's not the conference for Nestle, it's the Food and Grocery Council conference.
Yeah.
So I've done the Food and Grocery Council of New Zealand and the Food and Grocery Council of Australia. And in the room are people from Mars, Nestle, Sanitarium, all of the brands, Coca-Cola, Amatil, they're all in the room. And if you're any good, those brands go, we have our own sales conferences, and so now I'd like to book the speaker who's done a good job. So every time you have the opportunity where there's more potential buyers in the room, you have the opportunity to impress. So always a good idea if you're trying to get paid speaking gigs to go, who are the industry bodies, the real estate industry bodies, the fitness industry bodies? Can you get in front of those audiences, and that may well then lead to new work. I love having the commercial lens that goes, where's my income coming from? But I always still come back to every single time you have the privilege of being on the stage in front of people, it's about delivering value, not about trying to get the next gig. If you deliver outstanding value to the people in the room, you will increase the chances of referral, full stop.
Yeah.
End of story. I know I said I was challenging and funny and entertaining. So far, this has just been a big preach festival because I want people to get good at this stuff.
Where's the funny?
Where's the funny?
All right, so hopefully, Sarah, there is some stuff in there, some gold for you to start crafting maybe a pitch, maybe a show reel, maybe those assets around you that just support what you do. But at the end of the day, it's about being great. I know you're great because you were already great before you did the course. Now you've done the course, so you're going to get even better. However, invest in the skill of just getting those basics right, because when you're up there and you're doing the skill and people are getting entertained and suddenly they go, oh, that would be great at my work, or I could see this person presenting in this situation. And then maybe even just tap out into your network. Who do you know that knows someone, so you end up having the right conversation with the right company, and then just do what Sacha does and double her rate every time she speaks until people say no.
Last thing is that I want to pick up. I think what you've just said there about tapping your network, so important. Just let everybody you know that this is a thing that you want to do. It's the same with, I've got a couple of single friends and they're about my age and they're trying to meet other people. So they're 50s and they're kind of feeling like they're exhausting the options. They don't want to online date. I said, have you let everybody you know that you are single and ready to mingle? Because it's much more likely that if people know that, they'll think, oh, I know this person over here, what a great match. Same with this kind of speaking. Let everybody you know put it on your Twitter, your Facebook, your Instagram, contact your Snapchat friends. Just go, hey guys, just letting you know, I'm looking for opportunities to speak to groups of people about wellness. I do it in a way that is engaging or friendly or open or accessible or whatever your thing is. And I'd love to offer my services for free. I can do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes. Could I come to your workplace and talk about wellness? Make sure that the people who will advocate for you because they know, trust, and love you, know that it's a thing you want to do.